Hey friends, namaste and welcome. I have the beautiful Miss Laura with us, and I am so grateful that she has taken the time to be here with us. She has been one of our ladies in our Wise Mind Yoga Science and Soul Mastermind, and she has been with us for a while. So I'm just super excited to have her with us to be able to share her experience and just to learn more about the mastermind.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So do you want to start maybe with just kind of sharing your experience with working with me, working in the mastermind, and just kind of share for those out there that might be thinking about joining the group, what your experience has been like and kind of what brought you into the mastermind?
Sure. So this was the first thing that I've ever really committed to self-improvement. I've always just kind of pushed it off and never wanted to make that commitment before. But I had a consult with Jenny, and I really felt like this was it. This was really going to help me. And what I love about the program is that it is, well, you meet live once a week, which is the biggest blessing. Like, it's not a huge commitment. It's 1 hour, but that 1 hour is so fulfilling, and you learn so much information, and you're with a community of people that are going through the same struggles as you are, and having the same experiences and trying to accomplish some of the same things. So I think this sense of community and that 1 hour a week has been the biggest blessing to me. If it was just me doing it on my own, it would not have been as helpful. So I love that. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, the support part.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if you want to share too, if you know some of the ways that you've used the things that we've learned in the group.
Yeah, I love that you talk about resiliency, about stress resiliency. So I feel like every single person on the planet needs to learn these skills, including my children. I mean, it's just critical, and we don't get that kind of education ever. So many of us don't have it. So I love doing the exercises that you have us do. I love that you are very, just supportive of starting out small. Just do 2 to 5 minutes of meditation every day. Just do 2 to 5 minutes of yoga. Just get into these habits. And that's the biggest thing for me, right? Because people feel overwhelmed when they're starting a new program. And I love that you're just like, 2 to 5 minutes is fantastic. Just do it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem daunting.
Right.
And I also love that you're always there the next week to kind of follow up and say, hey, have you been working on this? But you don't make us feel bad if we've had a busy week and just have not gotten around to it. So as a mom of 4 kids, 3 living at home right now, I love that. And in the beginning I showed up and I felt pressured, like, oh my God, I didn't do the homework. But, then afterwards dealing with you, it's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
And so it's a program that you can work on your own time and on your own terms, but then you still have the support every week to kind of keep you on track and to keep you held accountable. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about a group support system is you do have that a little bit more accountability, but we definitely don't want it to feel, we always want you to have the mindful self-compassion and being gentle with yourself and all those things. So of course, I don't ever want anyone to feel pressured. Like you said, if they didn't do their homework or they didn't keep up with the meditation practice for that week, they can just decide, okay, for the following week, I'm going to reset my intention. I'm going to reset my habit, and I'm going to start next week, or I'm going to start tomorrow. Right. So just always practicing that mindful self-compassion and all the principles around yoga psychology and self-acceptance and self-love. And so this gives me goosebumps because all of this is so important. And it's definitely a big component in addition to the stress resilience, because it was always important, but it's especially important right now with everything that we have going on, as far as having that daily, as often as you can, some kind of sadhana practice, right? Even if it's a 2-minute breath work or 2-minute meditation, or you go walking for 15 minutes, or you do yoga for 15 minutes, like whatever that looks like, you have some kind of sadhana practice for self-care, so that when all these things are going to keep happen, you can learn to just ride the wave, right? You're not kind of going, like, you heard me talk about this before, the waves aren't going like this, the waves are staying more like this, because you've calmed your immune system or your nervous system and all the things, right? And you're constantly training your mind and body so that you can face anything, even a global pandemic, right? So I'm here to raise my hand that even in the middle of a global pandemic, you can actually be in a state of calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, just what I love also is that you reiterate and you let people know that, well, first of all, it's okay where you are right now. You're okay. It doesn't matter where you're starting off.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you've just taken the step to do this program, you should be proud of yourself and pat yourself on the back for that. You are beginning. And I think a lot of us that come to a program like this, you know, Jenny, we struggle with perfectionism. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we feel like, oh God, I didn't do that, or I didn't do enough, or I haven't progressed far enough. And so I love that if the thing about gentle acceptance and just being like, this is awesome that I've started this program and that I'm doing 2 or 5 minutes a day, which usually ends up being more than that once you can just get up and start. You usually start doing more. But I love that. So being accepted and feeling accepted and supported is a huge part of the group. And then just knowing that every little step that you take is bringing you further on your journey, and that it is a journey. It's not at 6 months you're going to be done and you have graduated and now you can forget about everything. It's a life journey. So every little step that you take is bringing you closer to whatever your goals are. And I love that. It's just a continuous journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting too, like, just to be able to watch all of you, like each person as you progress, through the group, and just to watch people grow, and then to be able to watch all of you support each other. Like, it's just such a joy and such a blessing. And I'm so grateful to have all these skills to teach you guys, right? That I've taken going on 8 years to work on all of this. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like, now's the time, right? That you heard me talk about this. You're always being equipped for something else. Mm-hmm. You're always building skills or learning lessons for something else. So just the fact that, again, I've built all these skills to now be able to share with you all. And I'm so proud of you guys, because, again, you're doing that intergenerational healing that we talked about, right? You're doing that inner shadow work and that healing that's going to make a difference, not only in your life, but in your husband's life and in your kids' life, and in everybody that you touch, because it's that ripple effect that we talked about before. And again, I get goosebumps because, if there was ever a time in the world where this work is important, it's right now. Okay, so
I love that too, that you're making, you're making a positive impact in your own life that will carry you forever, but you're making a positive impact in everyone's life around you, especially your family. I mean, that's really important, especially for moms, right? Because a lot of times moms kind of set the tone in the household, and it's like, they have jokes like, when mom's angry, nobody's happy, or, if mom's not happy, nobody's happy. And that's true. We kind of do run the ship a little bit in the house. And so it's really important for me, that was one of my big driving factors, was being able to get myself healed so that I could help my children. And if you are not going to do this for yourself, which I never did, I never took the time for myself, I 100% want to do this for my children. And I feel like the pressures that they have growing up these days in this world, they need all the help they can get. So I really think I can help my children, and that's huge.
Oh yeah. And you and I have talked about this, and I'll share it for those that have not heard this, that, my teenage daughter, who's 15, was a huge factor for me doing the somatic yoga therapy work that I did and the yoga psychology work and all the things that I've done to change the trajectory of my family of origin and the patterns and the generations of healing that needed to be done, of core wounds that I had that, again, I didn't know for a long time that I was even aware that I had those. And so that was a big determining factor for me to kind of push myself to say, okay, we're drawing, you've heard me say this, we're drawing that line in the sand, and this is not going forward. This is not going into my daughter's generation. This is not going to my grandkids. The line is going to stop, and I'm going to teach these skills to her, and I'm going to heal myself so that I can be there for her. Because the other thing is, the energetic vibe that you're putting out, right? The level of vibration that you're at, right? So are you, you heard me talk about this. Are you like in guilt and shame and fear or anger or grief? You want to get at least courage, right? At a minimum, to be at homeostasis, and then eventually get yourself into the vibration of unconditional love and peace and joy and gratitude, right? So I think that's another piece, like what you talked about with the mom can set the vibe, I guess, in the household, for lack of a better term, of, is it a vibe of joy and happiness and calm and peace and love? Or is it one of reactivity or, not having the patience that you would like to have? And I know that for me, that was definitely one factor where I was noticing I wasn't having the level of patience that I wanted to have with my daughter when she was in middle school. And I wanted that to change, because that was an area that I felt growing up, even though I know my dad did a beautiful job. I know he loved me. But because of his wounds that had not been healed, there were some times where I wasn't having emotional needs met. And so I didn't want to kind of do some of that invalidation with my own daughter, even though, again, I know it wasn't conscious. I know it wasn't in a malice way that happened, but it still happened, if that makes sense. So I didn't ever want my daughter to feel like I was being impatient or pushing her off, because I had my own stuff that I hadn't dealt with.
Yeah. I think it's also really helpful, because a lot of times we come or we're in this place where we have all these issues and we don't really know why. And we're so critical of ourselves for being in this spot or acting this certain way or thinking this certain way. And we really don't have any idea why. And so I feel like with this program, you get that. Like you talk a lot about that, and a lot about, your childhood and your parents' parents, and how far things like that can kind of go, go back. And I didn't realize any of that. And just having an understanding of that makes you feel better. And also, you mentioned your dad, and a lot of us have, if we do understand it, we've got a lot of anger and resentment built up around those kind of things. So it's really important to be able to, this was the key for me that I was missing, is being able to be aware of those things and be able to accept those things, and then learn how to move on. I was aware of them and I was trying to move on. But I was trying to move on with so much anger and so much resentment and almost even hatred. It was just, there's no way. You're missing a big step. So that was like huge for me to learn. And it takes time, even though now I'm aware and I'm aware of what I'm supposed to be aware of, it's still practice. You have to practice in order to get better. It's a skill. And that's huge.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm right there with you as far as like, every day, right, we get the opportunity to practice these skills, and you'll just get better and better and better as time progresses, and it will get easier and easier to stay in a place of calm versus reactivity. The more you practice it and the more you train your brain and you create those new pathways,
Yeah.
then eventually, again, it feels normal to be in a state of calm.
Yeah.
And, you can't be in that place of, anger and resentment and that vibration and be on love and peace and joy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can flip flop between, but what I mean is by staying there more often,
Yeah.
where you're in that higher vibration more often. That doesn't mean you're never going to dip down, but just being aware that you actually create, your thoughts and emotions create a vibration, that there's an actual Hertz energy. It's scientifically proven that whatever thought or emotion we allow to come in is changing the energetic state of our body, right? And we can get into a whole nother discussion. We're going to talk about it in the wellness module about how it affects your health, right? And your mental health and a lot of other things, not just your relationships or how you treat yourself or all the things, but there's at a cellular level, it can affect our basic health.
Yeah.
So, so share a little bit as far as what it's been like working with me, right? So for those people out there who may not know me that well, this might be the first time they're seeing me online. You had the opportunity to be able to meet with me at the studio and you knew me like in person, so maybe just share a little bit, what it's like working with me.
Yeah. So I did do a session with you in person, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound crazy because I met you in person and it was a big class. There was a lot of people there. And I almost feel like what we've done, even though it's been all virtual and it's been like this, I almost feel like we have a more personal relationship through this, which you would not expect. You would think virtual, you're kind of missing some kind of a connection, but that's not the case at all. I definitely, from our very first consult that we did like this, it was just online. I think it was like a Zoom call. I felt very connected. I definitely felt like you cared about everything that I was saying. You can relate to so much of what I was experiencing. You immediately feel like you have a friend. So I love that. And I see you with like that with everyone in our group. So it's not unusual. It doesn't seem like an unusual circumstance that I felt like that. I feel like you're like that with everyone. You're very accepting of everyone, very non-judgmental, which is huge because we're already judging ourselves so much. It's nice to have people just, and not judge you and to just say, I understand. I understand what you're going through. And there have been periods during our live calls where I think I've said to you, oh my God, I feel like I could just cry right now. Like, I feel like I'm not broken. I'm not, I almost wanted to say I'm not unfixable, but I'm not broken to start with. I don't need to be fixed. So there's definitely a connection, even though this is all virtual. And we don't have that in any other areas of our life. I just think that's huge.
Well, I so appreciate you saying that, like kind words, seriously, because one of my love languages is words of affirmation. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And I can tell you this is like years and years and years of me working on not judging myself, right? So you're going to hear me talk about this again, and I'll continue to, that as we lessen our judgment of ourselves, we then judge others less. And as we start to change our inner critic patterns of beating ourselves up, and as we pull away the perfectionism, then we don't project that onto others. So that is a lot of inner work of me truly accepting myself and not judging myself, so that I'm able to give that to you guys, right? I'm able to give that 100% unconditional love, full acceptance, no judgment, and so the point of that is that all of you can get there too, right? You can train yourself to be able to keep pulling back the layers, to keep healing your heart and healing your soul, right? Because our heart, healing our heart is just as important as rewiring our brain, right? So we're doing both of those things at the same time. We're peeling away any blockages. We're reopening our heart, just like you would peel back the onion up, the layers of an onion. And that again is what my journey of transformation was, which is why I'm here doing it with you guys, because it was such a life-changing experience that I wanted to be able to share that with other people. And so I'm here in testimony that you can get there. You can get to that point where you're not judging yourself, you're accepting and loving yourself, and then you radiate, acceptance, radical acceptance and love and joy out to other people. And so that's, again, that ripple effect that happens.
Yeah. And that's huge, to be able to hear your stories and hear what you have been through and what you've gotten over is a big part of it too, because you internally, you sort of don't see yourself ever getting there. But to watch you every week and to hear your stories and to see that you have gotten there, it makes you realize that you can do that as well.
Right. And just like you said, it's every day, right? Every day, every hour, every minute, when you're practicing mindfulness, it's like we just one breath at a time, right? And that's how you get there, right? One meditation, one breath work, one walk, one yoga practice, one thought that you notice that you're able to redirect, right? It's literally like that. That's that samurai mind that you hear me talking about, right? You get to that point of that samurai mind that these thoughts come in and you're just sitting back. You're just the observer. You're the witness mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And we're almost to the end of our 6 months. I think this month or next month. I'm not sure where we are. But I don't know if you were going to ask me this later, but I mentioned it in my last call with you. I love that we have access to all of the material. So there have been weeks where I've either missed or weeks that honestly I've just kind of halved it. I don't want to swear half, what is it?
Well, that's also because I know sometimes you've had to do lunch for your kids and stuff.
Yeah, when the kids are home, I've just had a busy life going on, but I love that I don't feel like, oh my God, it's ending, and then I'm just like left out in the cold. I feel like I know I can go back and I can view a lot of those sessions, which I will absolutely do. And I also feel like you're not going to leave me out in the cold. Like if I have issues and I send you an email, you're not going to be like, oh, sorry, Laura, time's up. Your session's done. Like, and I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that's how I feel. I feel like that's the type of person that you are. And I know you have been there for us for 5 months now. So I do feel like if we get kind of stuck or in a spot where we're like, I can't get over this, then you will kind of guide us.
Yeah. And I'm going to be adding, I'll continue to add, of course, videos to all those modules. So I'm going to continue to do live coaching, and we'll just continue to grow, each of those modules. So we're moving into that wellness module, which will be the 6th one. And then we'll go back through and we'll start adding to each one. So it'll just be an ongoing process with that.
Yeah.
And one last thing, thank you for mentioning that, by the way, that we do not only the weekly live coaching calls that you get me an hour a week, but you also have access to the learning management system for a lifetime. So one last thing. So there are some folks that have been watching that are considering doing a consult with me. So whether it's yoga psychology shadow work, or there might be some people that might need help with their business, that they're stuck in their business and they're looking for business strategy. Share with everyone what your experience was like when we did our consult.
Oh yeah. I mean, the consult is fantastic. Everybody has to do the consult. There's no reason not to do the consult. There's just no reason not to. And I think that people will find that it's the program is you get out of it what you put into it, of course, but there are so many different areas in your life that you can apply all of this information. So like you said, people that are doing it for business purposes, or people that are just doing it for their own, personal reasons. You can apply any of this information. And if you're sort of struggling with, well, how exactly is this going to help me? You can explain that to them, and explain that to them in a way that this is how I can help you. This is how you can help yourself. This is how you can, get further in your journey. Not, this is how I can sell you this course. I did not feel like that when I did a consult with you, that this is my goal. Your goal was not to just sell me the course. Your goal in that consult is really to explore how you can help them on their journey. And that's what it did for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this, me, I'm 100% authentic, and I love and care about every student, every client that I work with, and that's genuine and it's authentic.
Yeah.
And another reason we do that is to connect and make sure that there's a good fit on both sides, that it's someone that, first of all, that a group setting is going to work for them, or is it someone that might want to do privates, and I'm open to that as well, or some kind of combination of the two.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason to jump on a consult call, so that I can walk through the different options that may not be on the information page, right? I have other things that I've worked out with people one-on-one that I can't put everything on the information page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else, any other last words or suggestions or anything else before we jump off that you would like folks to know?
Well, I will just say that when you're looking at an investment like this, it's important to keep in mind that, even if you kind of break it down per month, how much you're going to be paying per month, it's something that is going to last you a lifetime. So I've got 30 more years to sort of pay for this. It's paid for already, but I've got access to this for 30 more years. So hopefully, it'll be 80, maybe even a little longer than that. But I just feel like it's important to try and take your mind off of that, which was hard for me in the beginning. I was like, I put all my extra money into my kids, and that is my focus, and that is my priority. And I had to do like a little mind shift that I was important enough for this program. And that even though it's going to be this much a month, I'm going to be able to utilize this information for the rest of my life. So if you break this 6 months down in the rest of your life, it's a teeny tiny little bit.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too, I'll mention for people to know that, if there is someone that is a mom, that is wanting to use this with their kids, I just thought it would be important to note that, you're welcome to use it with your family. So I'm not going to have like somebody pay like twice for the program. If you do it once, you can use it with your family and use some of the handouts with your kids. And, a lot of it is in some ways forms of therapy too, and a stress resilience and emotional resilience toolkit. And then there's plenty of information on meditation and mindfulness if you're interested in teaching your kids meditation or mindfulness. So the point being that it can be something that you can use with your entire family for those of you that are parents or moms that want to teach that to your kids.
Yeah, and I have actually done that. We did a session on inner critic voice. Where we named our inner critic voice, and we had to dress them and do all that. And I actually did that with my daughter. And all daughters need that information. I mean, absolutely 100%. We all needed it as children, but she's only 10. And we've done that together, and we still talk about that when things come up. I say, well, what is, I won't say what her inner critic's voice name is, but we talk about, well, what does so-and-so say? And we laugh about it, and it's so I think that it's things that will be helpful for her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a great age too, because they're impressionable, and that 10 to, especially 10 to like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of teenagers that would definitely benefit from this as well. And I know, my daughter has started kind of tuning into some of it, working on trying to get her to do breath work and meditation. And you know, all the things. But of course, I'm her mom, right? So I have to be gentle about how I introduce stuff without her feeling like I'm like pushing her too much, right? Because I'm her mom. So yeah, I kind of try to figure out creative ways of how can I bring this in. And sometimes I've even done it with some of her friends where I've actually done like breath work with her and her friends because they wanted me to. Like she had a friend that was dealing with anxiety. And so I taught them the alternate nostril breath. So as many little ways I can work it in, teach her, I'm going to do it. Right. So, anyway, so I so appreciate you taking the time. I'm so grateful for you to be here. So much for sharing and being vulnerable and, you know, being part of the group. I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you so much for being a testimony for us and a referral. And we will see you in the group.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right. We will talk to you soon.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone. So if you have questions, let me know. I'm going to put that link in the comments again for the consultation, which is calendly.com/wise mind yoga. So that is the consultation. I have carved out some time today and also Monday through Wednesday of next week. And if Monday through Wednesday of next week does not work for you, you can look into the following week, okay, the first week in December. And I wanted to take a moment when you all, and let me put this out there too. So this is the mastermind, wisemindyoga.com/success. Put that out there too. I wanted to take a quick minute to just go over the homework, and then I'm going to get into the lesson. So the homework from yesterday was about challenging your negative thought patterns and your mind's bias and changing your habit of stress and anxiety. So we looked at identify your stress triggers, rewiring your brain, identify thought patterns that lead to stress and anxiety, identify, are you aware of your mind-body connection? What limiting beliefs or inner critic self-doubt thought patterns are holding you back? And align and attune to what it would be like to live with those self-doubt patterns and anxiety and stress habit patterns transformed. So what would it look like, 6 months from now or a year from now if those patterns were transformed? Okay. And what would it be like to tune in to a Steve Jobs or the former CEO of Apple, or Oprah Winfrey internal GPS? So actually being able to listen to your mind-body wisdom and then taking action on it. That would be pretty amazing. Okay. So if you have your workbook, first of all, when you do join, let me know that you're here and just put your name and then where you're joining from. Because with StreamYard, unless you've accepted StreamYard, I can't see who's making the comment unless you put your name first, okay? So let us know who you are, where you're joining from. So if you have your workbook, I want you to go ahead and grab your workbook, or you can just grab your pen and paper, and we're gonna write down the 4 steps of the Heal, Transform, or the Heal, Detox, Transform method. But before I do that, I want you to think about asking, are you ready, right? Are you ready for change? And so I'm going to put some hashtags in here. So we've got hashtag ready, hashtag change, hashtag heal, hashtag detox, and hashtag transform. So if you're ready for one of those, change, heal, ready, transform, I want you to put that hashtag there. So even if you've never done meditation and you've never done yoga, if you've not done yoga therapy or mindfulness, this is for all levels. So we're going to be starting at a beginner level, or you can actually look at this as a reset of a meditation or yoga practice. So we are all stronger together when we have accountability and support. And I've shared this in all my seminars in the past, that we've seen the best results with the clients that are 100% have the accountability, either in a group, like what we've created in the mastermind, or individually with privates, to do the deep inner shadow work of healing, detoxing, and transforming. So I can speak to the effectiveness of a group and coaching accountability, not only to go deeper into your inner work, but also to create new patterns and new habits. So it's not easy to start a new habit like meditation alone. And it's even harder to do that inner work without a guide, right? For someone to guide you and be your mentor and your teacher or your coach, to guide you through that transformation process, to guide you through releasing the samskara patterns that aren't serving you, to take you through emotional release sessions, to teach you mindfulness and meditation where you're actually practicing a sadhana practice, where you're integrating that into your life, right? You're embodying these skills. So this goes far beyond me just giving you some facts about meditation and mindfulness. This is teaching you to apply this in your life on a daily basis, okay? To teach you to apply, to embody stress and emotional resilience, okay? So we've run series of yoga psychology, mindfulness, meditation trainings. We've run Call to Awakening trainings. I've run 3 years of Wise Mind Spiritual Warrior yoga teacher training, private coaching, taught community seminars with large groups of over 50 people. So we've done that with over 4,000 clients. So my own therapy was individual and group based. And so that is another reason why we have implemented this. And the yoga psychology training was also a form of group therapy and individual work. And so you had the accountability piece of what work needed to be done on your own. And then you had the piece of what you did together as a group, that support and accountability. So the time is now. There has never been a more important time in the world's history for us to do this shadow work. So I've shared in the past that we'll continue to share about how humans put things off, right? We have a tendency to put things off. So, why is it urgent now? Because of everything that's going on in the world, okay? So when I have the time, right? When I have the money, these are very common ones. So we have the time, we just have to make it a priority in our schedule, okay? It's not that we don't have the time. We must make ourselves be the priority for self-care, be the priority for intergenerational healing, to strengthen our mind, body, soul, and our immune system, and also our nervous system, okay? So again, as I talked about with Laura, we're peeling back these layers that have been built around our heart and soul while rewiring our brain. So this works with the heart and the soul and the mind and body all interconnected, where we're shape-shifting the psyche and we're opening the heart space. So, thinking about what would it be like 6 months from now? What would it be like 12 months from now if you went through this transformation? What are the things in your life that are not working for you right now that you don't want to continue? Okay. So there is no more valuable investment in your time, your money, and your finances than doing this transformational work of healing, detoxing, and transforming and personal development into the highest level of yourself and a higher level of consciousness. So I also want you to ask yourself, what is it going to be like if you continue with those patterns? So what's it going to look like 6 or 12 months from now if you're continuing to beat yourself up with the inner critic voice, if you're continuing perfectionism, if you're continuing reactivity or anger towards your kids or towards your relationships with your partners? What is it going to look like if you're stressed and overwhelmed and potentially burned out 6 to 12 months from now? Or anxiety, your habit around anxiety, if you continue these habits, or maybe it's being a busyaholic, right? The busy syndrome, or the stressaholic, or the workaholic, or the shopaholic, right? So what are the things that you're using right now as a short-term coping skill? So we want to teach you long-term coping skills, okay? So you're going to need about 6 months to complete this process, okay? You can definitely learn in 21 days to build a new habit. But when you're looking at actually transforming your neuron pathways, and you're looking at creating new neuron pathways and completely transforming a habit or a pattern that you've had your entire life, it takes time to do that, where it's consistent, okay? So again, I want you to think about, who is going to be that support and that accountability and that that mentor for you. So I am ready to shift my mindset to healing, transformation, and living the principles of mindfulness, yoga, psychology, and rest your mind and body, okay? So if you have not done the yoga psychology consult when we get off here or while we're on, either way, probably easier once we get off, go ahead and schedule it, okay? So that we can touch base and I can walk you through the different options for you and what is best for you. And if nothing else, we'll just walk you through whatever it is that you're dealing with right now that you need help and guidance with, okay? So let's go back to the workbook, and then we're going to get into the pillars, the different pillars. So on the workbook has here, how do you implement Wise Mind Heal, Detox, Transform method? So number 1, we went over this on Monday, is heal, self-mastery, and self-discovery. So getting to the root cause. So if you want to write heal, self-mastery, root cause. Number 2 is detox. So letting go of the past. Number 3 is be here now. Mindfulness, meditation, and stress resilience. So if you want to put be here now, mindfulness, and meditation. And then number 4 is transform. So this is moving into the future, So let's look at the 4 pillars. So number 1 in the heal, detox, transform process is heal. So again, self-mastery, the self-discovery process, looking at thought, emotion, behavior, awareness, and patterns. What we call mind, body, breath cultivation, building a samurai mind, letting go of toxic thoughts, exercises to control and build your self-awareness and control thoughts. The 3 pillars of yoga psychology, which is pranayama, breath work, the physical asana practice, and meditation. Of course, mindfulness, cognitive behavioral, and energy medicine. There's actually a science behind the energetic footprint that we put ourselves in. There's somatic mind-body therapy and a talk therapy and personal development component. Number 2 is detox. So we're letting go of the past. We're looking at our family of origin, ancestral core wounds that have not been healed. So what needs to be healed and transformed? What needs to be released? What is working and what is not working? So messages and emotional needs that were not met as a child. how triggers you now have from these unhealed wounds, which right now, again, are under the surface. They're in the unconscious mind, they're in the subconscious mind. So we're just reacting, we're just responding from the unconscious mind. Okay, so we want to be able to take that from the unconscious to the conscious and be aware of it, and then actually be able to transform, detox, and heal it. So looking at the root cause from an alternate medicine or from a holistic medicine approach of what is the root cause of what's causing you these behavior patterns, what's causing you the stress and anxiety. And then we have something called an emotional release and rinse process, where we are actually taking you through this emotional release process. And it's something that you can add to your emotional resilience toolbox that is a healthy way of releasing emotions like anger and frustration, sadness, grief, other lower vibration emotions that we can release in a healthy way. And that is one of our bonuses, is the emotional release session. So creating space for healing and transformation, right? So currently it's taking up space by emotions and past trauma and past family of origin wounds that aren't serving you anymore, okay? We want to be able to have self-love. So understand how to love yourself fully, how to accept yourself fully with mindful self-compassion, acceptance of being perfectly imperfect. Go through something what we call a judgment detox. So letting go of the judgment, shifting the pattern of the inner critic voice and perfectionism. Doing a mind detox, releasing anxiety, depression, and thought patterns not releasing us or serving us. Doing a body detox, so release daily and past stress, releasing toxins like cortisol, boosting the immune system, resetting the nervous system into relaxation response and out of fight or flight. We're doing what we call a soul and a heart detox, and we're resetting thought patterns. Okay, so we're changing our stress story. We're changing our anxiety story. So number 3, again, is be here now. So this is mindfulness, meditation, and stress resilience practice toolbox. So having a CEO mindset, right? Having an executive brain. Having self-mastery and thought awareness. Building a meditation practice, just like Laura shared, even if it's 2 to 5 minutes a day. Building that mind-body-breath relationship. Having mindful and conscious relationships and a daily life practice. Having emotional intelligence skills. Having emotional regulation skills and coping skills. Connecting to your gut instinct and being able to connect to that internal GPS in your intuition. And then lastly, cultivating a mindful self-compassion practice that you are doing the best you can at any time in the present moment. So actually treating yourself in a gentle way. Okay. And when I heard that concept, coming from someone that constantly beat themselves up, that blew my mind. And now that I actually live that practice, I'm here sharing that with others to start to live that in their own daily lives. Lastly, number 4 is transform. So we're moving into the future. We're setting our intention, what we call in yoga, our sankalpa. And we've got different therapeutic and journaling exercises to help you with this process. So you're clarifying, you're aligning, you're attuning to your purpose. You're becoming very clear on what your purpose is and becoming clear on your values and your priorities, becoming clear on your definition of success. And we have a ton of homework. We have an entire module on this, on leadership and the business of yoga, but it applies to any marketing around your business, okay? So again, we often put off what we could do today, and we say we'll do it when we have the time, we'll do it when we have the money. So I want you to make a decision to make yourself a priority, to make your self-care a priority, and to decide that you're investing in yourself today and that clients have seen invaluable results. So the best investment, again, you can make is in your own personal development, in your own building of self-care, in your own self-healing, in your own intergenerational work, and doing this intergenerational healing and creating a legacy of peace. And the ROI is priceless. You can't really put a number on it. So again, there's 6 modules, which I won't get into in detail here because you can read that on the information page, but we have 6 modules. I'll tell you really quickly, the first one is Introduction, Foundations of Yoga Psychology and Intergenerational Healing. The second one is Letting Go of the Past, Moving into the Present, Having a Legacy of Peace. The third module is Stress Resilience, Mindfulness and Meditation, and Neuroscience of Change. Number 4 is Emotional Regulation, Conscious Relationships, Conscious Communication, Sacred Sexuality. Number 5 is Leadership, Connecting to your Dharma, your purpose, the business of yoga, getting into marketing, getting into creating the life and the business that you want if you have a business. And then number 6 is the wellness module. So actually holistic ways to increase your mental health, your physical health. We're going to get into Ayurvedic health and applying that, the ancient study of lifestyle when it comes to yoga, and being able to start to reverse some of the damage that stress causes, that we can actually reverse up to 15 years of stress damage through meditation and other yoga practices, okay, where we can actually lower a biological age by 15 years. And that shows up everywhere, right? It shows up in our organs and our internal parts of our body. It shows up on the outside. It shows up in our skin and other ways, okay? So we talk about that as well. So let me give you just last thing here, and then I'm going to give you your homework. Just a couple quick things is to remind you that we have multiple options for this. We have a payment plan that one payment plan is for 6 months, and we have one for 10 months, and then we have a pay in full option. And the pay in full option is actually 20% off, and you get about $1,500 worth of bonuses. And part of those bonuses is actually one-on-one time with me. And it's actually a VIP group that we've created for anyone who's paid in full. And all of this that we're offering is actually $6,000 worth of value. And we have lots and lots of bonuses like lifetime access, yoga, meditations and classes, 21-day stress survival kit, the emotional release group session. That's all bonuses that you get even with the payment plan. So when you do the pay in full, you get not only the $1,500 worth of bonuses for pay in full, but you get all the other bonuses too. So I will put the link up here again, which is wisemindyoga.com/success. That is the mastermind group, the Wise Mind Yoga Science and Soul Mastermind group. And you can sign up for a consult through that link as well. But I'll give you the direct link, but you can get there either way, either through that link or through this link directly. And if you want to look more into client testimonials, more details about the modules, we have tons of information on that page. It's like its own website, thewisemindyoga.com/success. Okay, so we're getting back to the worksheet here, okay? So what will be my homework? Or what will my homework be for the Heal, Detox, Transform process? Part of that is going to be you figuring out who's going to support you in the process. So who will be my accountability, mentorship, and support system to create these new patterns? What is my timeline to start this process? So knowing I need 3 to 6 months to cultivate this transformation. So to me, if we start this process, if you sign up in December, you can decide to either start with us in December or you can start in January. Okay, so there's no like deadline that you have to start in December. You can start in January. And again, you get lifetime access to the content. And all the live training that I do is available for replay if you're not able to join us live. We encourage people to join us live as often as you can because you get the most out of it when you're commenting and you're asking questions and you're participating with the rest of the group. But you can still go back and watch the replay. Lastly, I am ready to shift my mindset to healing, transformation, and living the principles of mindfulness and yoga psychology neuroscience. Reset your mind and body. So this is a beautiful mantra statement of I am ready to shift my mindset to healing, detoxing, transformation, and living the principles of mindfulness and yoga psychology neuroscience. I'm going to reset my mind, body, and soul. Okay. All right. So here's your action items. Here's your homework. This is on the worksheet. Decide you are ready to choose to do the inner work of healing and transformation. Okay. So make a decision, make a choice that you are ready for healing and transformation. Choose your state of mindful awareness and calm. You get to choose your state. You get to decide. Align to your mind and body GPS to live your best life. And are you ready to make a financial, time, and energy commitment to yourself to go through this heal, detox transformation? Are you ready to make a commitment to your family, if you have a family, for intergenerational healing? Are you ready to make a commitment to potentially your future family and doing the inner shadow work of intergenerational healing and creating a legacy of peace? So again, I'm here to share with you that there was no better decision than the decision I made to go through that transformation. And I can't even put words to it. And that is my life's work. That is why I'm here sharing this with you, is because I want to lessen the suffering of other students, to take it from years, but it took me years to process and to transform and detox and heal, to months. So I'm taking you from going on 10 years of all the therapy and training, and instead of doing DIY, right, you trying to figure it out on your own, I'm handing it to you. Okay. And for those of you that are yoga teachers or wellness coaches or studio owners or moms, you can reuse the material that I'm giving you. So I'm actually giving you handouts that you can use with your own clients or in a group setting. So this goes beyond me taking you with your own work. This is actually me giving you a worksheet that you can use with your own clients. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to DM us. You can DM us in the group. For those of you that are in the Facebook group, you can private message me directly. I will post the Calendly link and the mastermind link in the Facebook group for those of you that are there. It is not too late for you to watch the replays. Those will be going on through Monday. So if you've not had a chance to watch the other master classes, those will be up in the group until Monday. And you also will be able to sign up for, let's see, if you've not registered for this, let me give you this link. So wisemindyoga.com/stress anxiety. This will take you to the Facebook group. So it will connect you with the workbook. So you have the workbook, you have the meditation video, and you'll have the Ready for Change quiz when you download there. And you will also be able to, it'll direct you to the Facebook group. So that is where you can watch all the replays and rewatch the content, is in our Facebook group, Wise Mind, Science, and Soul Success Tribe. Okay. So we are sending you love, light, and blessings. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And we look forward to being here in support and accountability and mentoring you through this process. Namaste.